Hello everyone, welcome to another YouTube video. Now before we get started, remember last time I said that I would start producing more content and I'd also start playing different decks. Now I have some things to discuss about that because it hasn't happened apparently. So let me start by saying that I applied to the MTGO creator program, as you remember, but I was denied, unfortunately. And the reason for that is everything was fine with the content, they liked what I did, but there was no more room. That's literally the only reason why I was not accepted. Now, this sucks, as in the beginning, they said that there were no limits. So, me, believing this, I applied a bit later to the program, only after a couple of days. And Card Horde has now also stopped their support for content creators, which means that effectively from now on, I have to either buy all my cards if I want to play different decks, or I have to lend them from someone that I know. Now, this really hurt because not only not getting into the program because of applying later, and there was no more room, which even though they said there would be room, and losing card holder support, it really hurt and made me not wanting to make content and thinking about how I would go onwards moving forward. So let me stress, I like the program. I like what they are doing with the MTGO creator program. I love it in concept, and I also understand Card Horde. I understand why they are quitting their program. So I do want to. I don't want to be like too shady or don't want to. Be too negative about those. What they have done is really good. However, the implementation of the MTGO creator program, in my opinion, could have been better. Because in the beginning, everyone was accepted. Everyone who applied was just accepted immediately. Even people who said that they would not be able to produce the required amount of content were still accepted. And that's especially hurt for someone like me, who would, if I could get the program, I would definitely make one video at least every week. But now I'm not able to do that, and it would have been a huge boost to the channel. So it sucks. I will definitely apply later again if they are going to do that again. That being said, I still wanted to make new decks, new contents, and if you look at the screen, you can see a deck that I've been playing right now. And let me just start by saying I went 5-0 with this list, so it's clear that there's potential here, and I'm capable of playing different decks. So I do want to point out that I needed to buy these cards, for currently it's going to be either Infect or this one. I'm not going to quit Infect ever because I've been getting some messages about that. People are worried. I'm not going to quit Infect. Yeah, that's about everything I wanted to say about Card Hoarder and about MTGO Creator Program. Fingers crossed that I'm going to get in the future. But still, thank you to MJarty for supporting me. They have been there always, and they are still supporting me. So check out their shop on Magic Card Market if you're in Europe, and buy from them because they are one of my remaining sponsors, and I'm really, really thankful. Okay, so let's dive into the deck list, because that's why you are here. So I said I would be playing different decks. This is a deck I've actually been playing a lot in real life, JESKAI Control. And the reason I chose this deck is because in Legacy, people are just always putting me on Infect, which makes sense. I'm always playing the deck, so when people play against me, they just mulligan towards a hand that has a ton of removal spells, which makes sense. That's what you want against Infect. So I've been finding recently that because of the power level of all the cards and Bowmasters and stuff like that, it's been challenging, and people, when they know they are playing against Infect, it's such a downside for me. So I decided that I would play a deck that's as far away as I could from Infect, and then we're going to a control deck. So I can tell you how many times I've gotten some free wins game one because people just mulligan towards a hand filled with removal, and then I start with Island Ponder Go. it's honestly hilarious. So big shout out to Johan Sturs, a friend of mine who I got the deck list from. He is a JESKAI expert, and he has shown me around a bit, taught me how to play the deck. And I got the deck list from him, but I made some minor changes towards personal preference, and I'm really liking this. So this is a deck that I will be playing more and more in the future, and I went 5-0. So I actually didn't expect to go 5-0, so I wasn't recording live. So I'm going to be discussing my games afterwards, and if I make some decisions or if I could have done things better, let me know, because I'm still, with this deck, I'm still learning. I'm not as good with this deck as I am with Infect, so I will definitely have made mistakes. Before we dive into the games, let's first look at the deck list. I'm going to discuss to you how the deck works, the decisions that I've made, and why I have chosen certain cards, and let me know if you agree with this. So first, the land base. what really carries this deck is just this card specifically, Back to Basics. I freaking love this card. This card is just nuts. It carries games so hard. Just resolve this and you win the game. Sometimes it's just that easy. It really is. It's so powerful. Of course, if you're playing Back to Basics, you want to have basics yourself. So you'll see that this deck plays a lot of basics. 4 islands, a mountain, and double plains. You don't need a lot of mountains. You're playing 2/4 in the main board. That's it. So I'm playing 1 mountain, and then I'm also playing 1 volcanic island. And then you have 2 plains, 1 tundra. You can see that I'm only playing 2 jewels. You don't really need to have more jewels. You want to have as much basics as you can to, not having to worry about wasteland. It's just so good. Further Strand gets you islands and plains, which you usually want. And you have Prismatic Vistas to get your to basics. So yeah, pretty solid mana base. Honestly, you rarely have an issue with mana. So that's really nice. And then I'm playing 1 Mystic Sanctuary. I love this because it's an island, so you can actually fetch this with Flooded Strands, and you can also get this with your Lorians because you're playing 4 Lorians. It's too good not to play. You have these sick combinations where you just you Lorien revealed for Mystic Sanctuary, and then you play the Mystic Sanctuary, putting the Lorien revealed back on top. It's honestly, it's pretty fun. Then removal suite, right now you need to have a lot of removal spells. 4 swords, 4 ending. That's pretty stock. You want to get rid of stuff that's really unfortunate. Prismatic ending, really good. Just get rid of anything that's a bit of a nuisance, like chalice, etc. 1 Supreme Verdict I've tried to, it was just a bit too much. Supreme Verdict really isn't that great, because right now cards are so powerful that people will often just play 1 creature each time, and Supreme Verdict will just be another one of those removal spells, but sometimes it's not bad. Dress Down, really good. Urza Saga's everywhere, so really good against them. Ponders, Brainstorms, Lorien, cantrips. Playing 4 Force, double Force Negation to Spell Pierce, some counter magic. Already discussed Back to Basics, and then what I really love, and I think the reason why Jeskai is really powerful is just the Planeswalkers, dude. Teferi is just such an incredibly powerful card. Against opposing combo control decks is just a house. Narset, really good. Being able to find everything that you want, it's really nice. Days Undoing, just playing 1, but you will find this with all of your spells. It's so good. Then 4th Ending, this is a win condition. Not a lot of win conditions in this deck. This is a really hard control list, so I like that. And 4th Elingus, just 2 up, you don't need more. Keep in mind you can get it back with Mystic Sanctuary, which is really nice. Then let's go to the sideboard. So sideboarding, Doorkeeper Thrall, that's a flex slot. I think this could be something else, but I like it. Not triggering when you enter the battlefield. Really good with Scam everywhere right now. Good against, I don't know if you're playing against Initiative, really good. Rest in Peace, that's just something that goes along the Gravedigger's Cages. I could see myself playing maybe 3 Gravedigger's Cages or maybe a Surgical instead of the Rest in Peace because 2 mana is awkward. But I like Rest in Peace against lands, etc. That's just the reason why I'm playing Rest in Peace. The rest of the list is something that I'm really sold on. So Double Triumph, it's basically for Delver matchups and everything that plays basically non-white removal spells, really good. After sideboard, you really want to have more win conditions too. Then Hydroblast, Pyroblast, really good. Another Back to Basics, as I said. It's a winning condition on its own. Even though it doesn't immediately win the game, it effectively wins the game, as you will see in this league. Meltdown's pretty stock, get rid of artifacts. Cages, to get rid of the Reanimator, decks, etc. And then you have Lavinia, really good, preventing your opponent playing Force of Wills, really good against 8 cast. All the baubles that are free just get countered. Really nice. Alright, that's the deck list. Let's dive into the games. The first game, I'm on the play. This hand for a control deck is fine. Basically everything with an island and the cantrip you just keep. So that's a keep. I'm going to keep. There we go. Just start off by playing Flooded, passing. Our opponent plays Urborg and Lotus Petal, and there we will see that they follow this up with a Sylvan Scrying. Now, this means Dark Depth, so I want to prevent them from finding the lands that they need, and I have this lonesome Spell Pierce in here, so I'm definitely going to Spell Pierce. Boom, get rid of that. Nice. Then we have Narset. Don't want that right away, so I'm going to Lorien first, play the island, and just chill. What I really want to do is I just want to win the game by playing Back to Basics. That's pretty much it. So I knew that I have Lorien, so I am going to Brainstorm here because Vampire Hexmage makes it really awkward. And if I had played Back to Basics, I didn't have Dress Down and Swords when I brainstorm. So I really wanted to find a removal spell, and then I know that I'm safe to go for back to basics or something else like that. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty safe right now. I don't think I want to have the dress down there. I'm gonna put it back. There we go. Gonna fetch, of course, get that white mana. And as I said, now I feel safe to be able to play the back to basics, because if they are going to make the token icon swords, so I felt fine doing this. Okay. They just play a swamp, that's nice. And they slam in. Already I'm feeling really good, and as I said, back to basics is going to be carrying a lot of games. So get rid of that, I just brainstorm, find some more stuff. I don't need the fourth Erlingus right now. Let's see what they do. If they don't do anything, then I would want the fourth. I think this is a nice spot to just play the Narset. I want to have some removal spells. You know, no need to overextend. Just going to take the Ponder, find some more removal spells, you know, control the game. That's what you want to be doing with this. Another back to basics, not really what I want, but I draw Days Undoing, which is nice, and I just win the game. For people who don't know this, what's going to happen is, with Days Undoing and Narset, so your opponent can't draw more than one card each turn, right? And Days Undoing says everyone draws 7, basically. So what they're going to do is they're going to draw 1 card, and I'm going to draw 7 fresh cards, so they concede as they should. This game is over. So game 2, let's see what happens. This hand's fine, you know, it has cantrips, which is basically what you need. You also have Lavinia, which is okay in the matchup. It's not excellent or anything. Yeah, usually what I do is I discuss sideboard plans. I'm not going to do this right now because I don't feel proficient enough yet with the deck to give you a solid sideboard advice. I may do that later, but for now I'm going to decide to not do that. Hope you understand. Okay, so hand's pretty good. Just going to start off by playing the island. It was nice drawing the basic here. Just chilling. They have Sudden Scrying. There we have the Spell Pierce, taking that cleanly. Nice. I think I'm going to play the Tundra here. Just play the Lavinia. There's not too many cards that Lavinia hits, but honestly, in this matchup, I think I just bring in 2 cards, stuff like that. What you want to happen is you want to prevent them from having the Not of This World card to protect Dark Depths for free. That's the only thing, but I have a couple of bad cards in main, and only 2 that I want to bring in, so I have room for Lavinia. Okay, so not looking too good. They have Stage Depths, but I have Swords, so I'm like, okay, we can do this. If they have, like, Legolas, nothing I can do about it anyway, because it has Split Second. I know that card very well. So I'm going to play the Back to Basics. If they go for it now and it fails, I think Back to Basics is really good at solving that problem. So I'm just going to chill. I'm going to play the Narset, trying to play it safe. So I had to take a Brainstorm. I really don't want to have another Back to Basics. If I find another one in a later part of the game, I will just take it, because they have ways to get rid of Back to Basics. So play Crop Rotation, I'm happy to force. So I'm running through my resources rather quickly. Another Narset is fine. I'm going to take the Prismatic Ending here, just get rid of the Lotus Petal. The idea here of doing this is that with me having Back to Basics, I want to prevent them from getting mana. That's basically it. Okay, so just slam in. I have the swords for when I need to. Here, this is interesting. They Ghost Quarter themselves, which is something that I was not expecting, not going to lie. I'm going to brainstorm in response to the Thoughtseize. I want to hide away some cards that I don't want them to take. They take 4th Erlingus here. I don't have red yet, so I was fine with them taking it. So now I'm going to play another Back to Basics. As I said, they can get rid of this, so their Force of Vigor, they still hit both, but at least if they have, like, what's the name? The Outland, something, then it doesn't work. Now, they do take swords, so I'm a bit afraid here. So I'm definitely going to play Narset, digging for another swords. There we go, we find one. Nice, I'm happy. Not going to attack into the Vampire. Here they have the Dark Depths, they have the Boots, they make a token. They equip, respond swords, but they have the Legolas. Well, it's not Legolas, it's this one, Tamiyo's Safekeeper, but with me only having 1 force and no other blue card, it's the same thing. It again hexproof, so it works. I don't understand them playing Tamiyo's Safekeeper. They should definitely play Legolas, but Anyway, right, let's go to the next one. So game 3, lots of cantrips in this hand, which is pretty much what you want with this deck anyway. Our opponent also mulligans quite hard. They mulligan to 5, so we take those. So a ponder, it's not ideal, but I mean I have more than enough cantrips, so I'm fine taking the force negation, especially with my opponent having mulligan to 5. I think this is perfectly reasonable. So let's brainstorm. Lots of fine cards here. No, I'm just gonna chill. No, I have triple force, so I feel relatively safe. I do want those lands, so I'm just going to draw them. Just gonna chill. Magic Vista, get a mountain. And I'm gonna get a plains. Now, the reasoning here behind my play pattern is they have green and Urza Saga. I think that if I take the Monarch now, I'm going to draw so many cards that I'm going to win game from there. With them not having done anything and me having like triple force, it feels to me like I just want to draw cards and win the game that way. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. I really loved this this decision, and it paid off. So here they're gonna go for Urza Saga. Play a land, pass. Okay. Now, I love the way where this is going. So I'm gonna ponder. I find removal spell. Excellent, just what I need. I'm not gonna bother slamming in. I just wanna. I'm gonna win the game by drawing more cards. So okay, they have a construct. So the idea here, what I'm working towards is I'm expecting that they will make another token, right? And they will try and take the Monarch. So what I'm expecting them to do is get the boots, equipping it on one, and then slamming in that way. That's what I'm expecting. So that's not going to work because I'm going to remove one of them. The other construct becomes a 2/2. They have nothing left, and I win the game. That's basically my game plan. So let's see what happens. There we go. Saga makes a token. They get the boots. Try to equip. I'm going to let that happen. So they slam in. Going to swords. One of them. Block the other one. And at this point, I don't see how I can lose this game, honestly. So I'm just going to play Teferi, tick up, and feel like I have full control. Inquisition, and then just concede. This just shows you how much in control I was. They saw my hand and they were like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to come back from this. And I do think that making the fourth Alingas just for one token, just to get the Monarch, was worth it here. So that was an interesting game. All right, round 2. Okay, so I'm on the play again. Very nice. This hand is pretty much everything you want as a control deck. Cantrips, lands, Teferi, win condition. So, yep, I'm very happy. Opponent mulligans to 6. So I'm just going to play Flooded. And let's ponder. And I'd like to have that prismatic ending. Seat of the Synod. Synod? Synod. I'm going to say Synod. So lovely. I'm just curious, and I'm thinking about this every single game one, when how many times does my opponent think that they are playing as Infect, or how many times did they keep their opening hand based on that? And I think it was a lot. It's difficult to tell, you know. Anyway, so Mox Opal is really nice because we can just safely prismatic ending that, get rid of it. There we go, they have Saga. We are going to see a lot of Urza Sagas in this league, let me tell you that. Okay. So I'm just going to brainstorm, see what we get. No, not bad. I'm going to Lorien. I don't think I want to have that prismatic ending. I think I'd rather have swords. I think I'm happy with the way this is going so far. I'm not going to bother with Mox Opal. Let's just brainstorm, dress down. That's the perfect draw here. Because now I can get rid of all their threats. Especially with me having double force, I will definitely get rid of these Saga tokens. So they make some constructs, but they have another Urza Saga. That's always difficult. Urza Saga, dude, it's so difficult to deal with. I'm going to get rid of Chalice. I pitch Spell Pierce because I don't expect that Spell Pierce is going to get better the longer this game goes on. They have a lot of mana, so... And then we get a newer card. For people who don't know this one yet, let me just pop it on screen. So Simulacrum Synthesizer. So it's a lot of text, and it basically says that if they have an artifact with mana value 3 or greater in the battlefield, they get one of these. That's basically what the card does. Extremely powerful if you can stop it from resolving. That's basically it. So I'm going to dress down first, because I'd rather not pitch Brainstorm to this Force Will. So I'm happy that I drew another blue card and get rid of it. I don't think Teferi is what I want here in this spot specifically. I'd rather just have the Teferi on top. I'm drawing the Teferi, gonna bounce Urza Saga. It's so cool that you can do that with Teferi. It's ridiculous. Drawing Dres down is perfect, so I am happy. Pithing in is unfortunate, but I mean, the effect of Teferi is still fine. They have Sojourners something. I'm going to take some removal spells. There were 2 swords in there, so I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not unhappy. Just going to keep this deck in check a bit. So they're going to attack me, not even bothering with Teferi. So I'm going to get rid of that. Just chill, you know. With me having Teferi, they can't respond, which is why Pithing Needle is not the end of the world. So they make some constructs. They will get killed by Dress Down. Lava Spur Boots, that is fine. They're going to attack me. And I'm going to say no thank you. Dress Down, draw. And another Swords. Now they have the Simulacrum Synthesizer. That's a good one. That's going to be scary. Because they will make some tokens. And I have seen both Dress Down, so no more Dress Down in the deck. Okay, so a bit of trouble with my lands. I'm going to draw the Prismatic Ending, because if I find a mountain, I can actually just get rid of Simulacrum. They have another Urza Saga, and now they are going to start making the tokens. So, yikes. Slamming in for 9 right from the get-go. These boots, they are really good addition. Okay, I did find a mountain, but not what I'm looking for. It's a bit late. Now I'm desperate. I get rid of the what's the name? The Simulacrum. But they have too much threats. They're able to make threats and just kill me, so this was a desperation attempt, but it was just not good enough. Alright, next game. So something that you rarely have to do with this deck is Mulligan. It's very consistent, which is something that I like. But this is an example of a hand I don't think you can keep. It's a bit too much nothing. So 4 lands, Force of Will, and 4th, which is something that you don't want to cast early. A bit too much air, it's a bit too much nothing. So I actually mulligan here. This is okay. You know, back to basics. As I said, it's a card that can win games on its own. My opponent also mulligans to 6, which is thank God for that. So the hand's not excellent, but I was okay with it. I was okay with it. I get rid of the 4th Erlingus. It's just not what you want to be doing. I'm just hoping that I can slam down back to basics and win from there, which is very often, you know, good enough, especially with all these decks relying on Urza Saga. I start off with Mystic Sanctuary, because if that one gets tapped, it's not the end of the world. And I'm just going to slam it down, you know, back to basics, and they're going to fight over this. Force Will, I force back, and it resolves. Nice. If that was my game plan, let's see if it was good enough. It's possible, you know. Really good that they can only make 1 token, and you can see why Back to Basics is so good. They will now, if they actually play, or if they make the token, the Seed of the Synod also remains tapped, so it's really, really good. So they will not make a token. They want their mana. They have Ancient Tomb. Okay, sucks, but so be it. And they have the Simulacrum Synthesizer. That is scary. Need to get rid of that stuff immediately. So I want to keep my Prismatic Vista, because I need a mountain for if I find, what's the name of the card? Meltdown. Now we draw Supreme Verdict, which is really good, so I'm just going to get my basics. I'm going to get rid of the stuff that they have right now. Again, it just deals too much damage. I can't let that happen. And there we go. They make another Simulacrum Synthesizer, so yikes. Very scary. I'm going to need to draw some removal spells very soon. Brainstorm's really good. So, not the best Brainstorm. Swords is fine. Pyroblast is also fine, but I just need them to not make tokens each turn. Now, mana value 3 is something that's difficult for them with me having back to basics. This card is the one that's keeping me alive. They only have 1 island that they can use right now. So I'm keeping the Pyroblasts. The idea is that Simulacrum says the artifact has to enter the battlefield. So if they're going to play another of those blue threats, I want to Pyroblast that. I don't want to kill a Simulacrum too soon. It's Pyroblastable, but if I have another one, maybe. But right now, not yet. I think it's too soon. Okay, so we're just chilling. Now, since me having found Prismatic Ending, I'm thinking about whether or not I should actually get rid of a synthesizer, which I decided to do. And here they have Metallic Rebuke, so yikes. Not sure if I should have played the Tundra there to potentially pay for it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm fine with the way this is going currently. Again, back to basics is definitely keeping me alive. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slam this all down. And they have another one. Yikes, that's really painful. That was really painful, not going to lie. Okay, so be it. I'm just going to find Meltdown. That's what I'm going to do. At least what I'm going to try. So, you know, they're not doing a lot of damage right now. They only have one card in hand too, so I'm like, okay, if we can stall this game long enough, I should be able to take control. If I just draw one removal spell, you know, I can get rid of the Patchwork. It's fine. It's not going to kill me relatively soon. They just if they have Simulacrum activation anytime soon, I'm dead. So Lorien, I'm going to draw enough cards. I have the Pyroblasts, which is something that I wanted to. If they have like Force, something like that, I want to be able to Pyroblast it. So now, with me having drawn a bunch of cards, still not finding removal spells, it's unfortunate. So I'm going to Brainstorm first, and I find Meltdown. So I'm just going to go for it, you know. The reason why I played it like this is that I still have a Volcanic in the deck, so I want to kill everything, and if I have to, fetch up Volcanic with Flooded Strand to stop them from countering my stuff with like Metallic Rebuke, something like that. And they concede here, as they should. This game is over now. So that was really cool. Brainstorm finding me the Meltdown that I needed. Yeah, cool game. Next one. Pretty good hand. Cantrips, removal, counter magic to fairy. Yeah. Happy with this keep. So they have Saga. How many does anybody have as a Saga count? Because it feels like they are playing 8 in their deck. It's hilarious. I make a very interesting choice here to counter the Lava Spur Boots, because the way they are playing, it feels to me like this is going to be an extremely fast game, and I'm going to lose if I can't slow them down. And I think forcing the Lava Spur Boots here was maybe an interesting or weird play, but I do think it was the correct one, because if they start slamming in with these tokens, I'm just not going to be able to catch up. That's what I was thinking anyway. Okay, so fetch. Playing an island, playing the Ponder. You can see I had Volcanic, back to basics, and Force. That's what was in the Ponder. So I'm going to put the Force Will on top. Always the best thing to have when you have 0 mana. A lot of Urza Sagas. Scary. Not much I can do about it. We draw the back to basics. Let's see how many tokens they are going to... or they will be able to make. Now, this is interesting. I actually did not anticipate this. They will get, with their Pitting Needle, they are going to name Flooded Strand. So I was not aiming them. I was not aiming on them getting the Pitting Needle. That was I don't know if that was a mistake. Maybe I should have fetched. Honestly, I don't know. If looking back on this, would I have fetched if I would have thought about Pitting Needle? Maybe not. Maybe that's incorrect. We'll see. So I don't want to see them having the Simulacrum, so I'm going to Brainstorm. I do find another Force Will, which is, the Simulacrum, it just can't resolve. I have currently no way to get back to basics online anytime soon, so I'm just deciding to try and prevent them from killing me, because they currently don't have any threats yet. So I'm okay with this. They even decide here to not do anything. Not make a threat. And Chalice is hilarious because it just doesn't do anything against me. So we have had a very interesting game where even though they've had double Urza Sagas, they have made 0 Urza Sagas tokens. And me countering the Lava Spur Boots was an interesting choice. But the fight about the Simulacrum was definitely the most important one. Okay, so I draw the swords. So currently I'm not unhappy. I'm going to find a land sooner than later because this deck plays a lot of lands. Or cantrips, etc. So I'm not unhappy with the way things are going currently. As long as they don't have threats, I'm fine. So Narset, gonna cast it, draw, and we find Meltdown. I said draw, it's not draw, but I do find Meltdown. So currently in this stage, my opponent is playing a Simulacrum Synthesizer. They have 1 card in hand. So I'm like, yeah, the only thing that beats me here is really the what's the name? The one that you can counter stuff Metallic Rebuke, that's one thing that I'm afraid of. They want to kill Narset. I'm fine with that. I just wanna resolve this meltdown. That's the game plan here. Okay, so not the best Narset. I really would have wanted Lorien. Okay, but so be it. Just get a Narset. I'm just going to, Meltdown. And the idea is to just, again, slow them down, because right now I have triple removal spell. So I want to find white. If I find a white land, I can kill these creatures, and they have 0 cards in hand. So I feel like this exchange was really good. We destroyed Mox, Pithing Needle, Springleleaf Drum, and Chalice, all with the Meltdown. So I'm fine with that trade. I will find a land. Narset can also find Lorien, so cutting them off of blue is also very relevant. Now I can also fetch, because I've got rid of the Pithing Needle, remember? So I can kill this one. Next turn, I wanted to kill the Simulacrum. This is unfortunate. Them having drawn Frogmite, getting another construct, yikes. But okay. Again, it's about me surviving. I need to survive for as long as I can. And I think getting rid of the Simulacrum is what I need to do here. I already have 2 removal spells left, so okay, I have some time. It's scary, but I have time. Nice. So I'm going to get rid of some threats here. What I did now is I wanted to get rid of the biggest threat, and these only deal 3 damage. So I know that 4th Elingus, that also creates blockers. If I need to, I can actually start blocking these things, which is nice. So I could potentially swords here, but I'm deciding not to. I wanted to keep that sword when I want it. I'm going to take the Mystic Sanctuary and target the Meltdown. You can see why I love Mystic Sanctuary. It's just so good. I'm debating a bit here. What if they have Metallic Rebuke? That's really punishing. But if they don't have Metallic Rebuke, I just win the game here. And they do not have Metallic Rebuke, so I win the game. That's pretty much it. Nice. Mystic Sanctuary really good here in this matchup. No, it's just such a powerful card. The fact that you can get it with Lorien is honestly so powerful. All right, next round. Another reason why I should maybe play this deck more is that I win a lot of die rolls with this deck. So it sounds really good, but there's one thing missing. I'm sure you can figure out what that is. Just no lands, a bit removal heavy, so that's interesting. But it sounds fine, you know, I have back to basics, which is already a win condition on its own. A bit land heavy, but so be it. It's not bad with all these back to basics, so I'm okay. I also have prismatic ending, so if I'm playing as a combo deck, that sucks, but if not, this hand is well set up to deal with what my opponent's going to try to do. Also, this is game 1, so people are probably thinking that I'm on Infect. Get rid of prismatic ending, get rid of the ignoble, always bolt the bird, as they say. Elvish Reclaimer and another one. Okay, unfortunate, but this is what I was hoping for. I'm just going to play back to basics and win the game. It's ridiculous, but it's just true. The card is nuts. It's ridiculously good. Okay, so my opponent has Catacombs, but they cannot use Reclaimer currently. And they're going to be slamming in with 1/1s. So I'm going to brainstorm. Here we find Removal Spell, which is really good. I also have Days Undoing that I put on top. Depending on what is going to happen here, you can see that I have Narset, Days Undoing, and Swords. Depending on how the game is going to evolve, I may not keep that Days Undoing. It's good, but it's not... You know, it requires some setup, so this deck can be fast, so we'll see what happens. Now, it's clear that they currently don't have a lot going on. So I feel like, okay, I can draw that Days Undoing. So Narset, take a removal spell. They're going to slam in with Elvish Reclaimer. Now this means I have also 4th Elingus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the Elvish Reclaimer first. There we go. I'm going to chill. I don't need to overextend. You know, I want to be able to cash in this Days Undoing when I feel really safe. Then a 4th one is nice, and now I feel like it's time to go for it. If they have any responses, I could also just Swords in response if they have like a creature, so I'm okay with it. And then just concede. Nice. Next game. People watching this and don't know that I'm usually a guy who plays Infect, let me just pop up the chat here real quick. My opponent says, no more Infect. And I said, I'm playing this to be less predictable. And they says, yeah, it worked. You really got me. So that's what I was hoping for. I wanted to pick the deck as far away from Infect as I possibly could. And juke people. So this hand's a bit interesting, you know. triple removal spell is something that I like. Double Brainstorm and I have Island is really good. I also have Dress Down. So I feel like this should be good enough, you know. Again, if you have Island, Cantrip, that's a keep. You're a control deck, so I feel like I'm okay with this. If they have like a really explosive start, we could be in trouble, but I'm fine with playing it out. Okay, interesting spot here. So what's going to happen is I expect here my opponent is just going to slam in and do nothing. And what they are screaming right now is, I have Bowmasters. That's what they are screaming, right? However, I may just have to accept that this happens. I have triple swords, so I'm going to try and set up a turn where I can brainstorm. I expect them to Bowmasters, and then I swords Bowmasters in response. Because I'm playing against Cradle control, they do not have any meaningful interaction to that. So that's what I was expecting here. Let's see what happens. So you can see me, I'm going to brainstorm now. I wanted to see if I drew a land. I didn't, so I just needed to brainstorm. It's possible if I had found a land, like Island, or Plains, I would have just not brainstormed. But at this point, I can't just do nothing. I have to brainstorm here. So indeed, I have the Bowmasters, as expected. And we take some damage, but luckily for us, we find these two lands that we really, really need. Press downs aren't great in this matchup. They're not bad, but they're not great. I'm going to take some damage. And honestly, with me having 4 removal spells, I just don't really care about Bowmasters. So I'm just going to fetch. I'm just going to get rid of the token. Again, I don't want to die. That's what I need to do. So Thoughtseize, take whatever you want. I'm happy with this hand. I have triple sword and spell pierce, so I'm really okay. Just going to kill pretty much everything that they have. So let's get rid of Bowmasters first, in case I find cantrips. They put Atraxa into the graveyard. Oh, sorry, Shepherd. Again, that's scary, but if they don't kill me now, they don't have 4 mana for natural order, so I'm okay with this. The swords, Korean Ranger at the end of turn, and here in response, what they're going to do is they're going to Endurance. Nice. Going to take their own graveyard, and they're going to untap. And there we go. They just untap because they wanted to take back the Underground Mortuary to their hand so they can see a new card. That's a good sign, usually. Okay, let's get rid of that Endurance. It kills me quickly. Again, I just need to survive. I'm going to keep the swords. I'm kind of hoping that they don't think about me being able to swords and spell pierce in response to them having, like, natural order. Okay, so they just slam in for 1. I'm okay with that. So, drawing another removal spell, nice. I've seen a lot of removal spells this game. Once upon a time, and they reveal Elvish Reclaimer. Now, that's a scary one. I'm not going to lie. Elvish Reclaimer is scary. Brainstorm, let's see what we get. We find 4th and 2 lands. So I'm going to get rid of that. And now, the game plan here is, again, if I just take control of the game, I want to be able to draw cards. I think that's what I'm going to be able... If I draw cards, I'm going to win the game. That's the idea here. And now, what they're going to do is they're going to Zenith for Grist, and they have Ignoble. So, I'm going to have to navigate this this very well. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with this. I get where it comes from, right? They want to kill my threats, and they are going to make, you know, insects every time, and they can take over the game from that. Now, that leaves me with at least 2 extra draw cards, right, from the Monarch. So I'm going to Lorien here, draw some cards. Not the best Lorien, but I mean, I guess I can't complain. And the Ferry here is what I want to keep. So I pitch, this is funny, I just pitch the Force Will. I take the Force Will, pitch Spell Pierce, because I don't want them taking the Ferry, because the Ferry can actually bounce these insect creatures. And I think if I can just do that one more time, I should be able to win. So what I do here is I actually put 4th Erlingas on top with Mystic Sanctuary. The reasoning for that is that I know I'm going to win if I can just bounce, and then next turn, now they have no threats, so they can't take the Monarch. With the Monarch, I'm going to draw the Ponder, to Ferry Druid 4th Erlingas, and I know that next turn I'm just going to win, because they can't respond to 4th Erlingas, and my 4th Erlingas is going to make 1,000,000 tokens. So I'm okay with this. I think we navigated really well. Now, we did draw Supreme Verdict, which is nice. So This actually made it so I was like, okay, maybe I should wait another turn. So just plus to Fairy so I can have instant speed Supreme Verdict, which is nice, which is what I'm going to do here. I was kind of hoping that they would make an Insect first, but okay, so be it. Play Elvish Reclaimer. Take Urza's Saga. Okay. I'm gonna ponder. I find, I don't know, the removal spell, which is something that I really, really want. Cycle the rest of them. Don't want those. Draw Force, which is nice because if with me having drawn Force, I feel like I'm just in complete control. I can't see myself losing the game here. I'm gonna keep open these planes to have swords if I really, really need to, and I will just want to push in some damage. I'm just going to attack with everything because they have double green and black, so I just don't think there's no way they can take the Monarch. Here we go, they natural order. No, we can't have that, can we? So I'm just going to force. Can't spell Pierce, don't have blue mana. I'm just going to kill it. Kill it. I'm just going to counter it. Brainstorm. Find some stuff. At this point, it's really irrelevant, honestly. I just feel in total control. The only thing what I have to be wary of is if they make a token here, they could natural order, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, when they make the token, I'm just going to dress down so they don't have any window where they could potentially natural order. Even though I have Spell Pierce and Swords, I'm just not taking any risks. So I'm just going to play this one. And if I just attack with everything, I win. So they have Fiend Artisan. What I'm going to do is I'm not even going to bother with sorting this one because I just want to win the game. So I'm just going to bounce with Teferi and slam in and kill them. There we go. And boom. Nice. Cool. Let's go to the next one. Opening hand is fine. I really wished this Mystic Sanctuary was an island, but okay. Can't have it all, I guess. Hand's pretty good. If this Mystic Sanctuary untaps, we're good to go. So, yikes. We are playing against Mississippi River. I think that's one of the more challenging decks that you can play against because the Cascade is really scary. So I'm just all in on this back to basics. I really need to have this. You can see that there was no counter magic in here, just a bunch of removal spells, which are horrible in the matchup. I just shuffle it away, and I'm just going to try and resolve that back to basics. So I just brainstorm, no counter magic. Really unfortunate. I really wanted to have counter magic because now we're just probably going to die. Okay, play a Violent Outburst. Nothing much I can do about that except brainstorm, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to respond, see if I can find some counter magic, which we do not find, and we lose. Next game. So the main thing against Mississippi River is of course Teferi. That's going to be a house. I really want to have Teferi because that means the Cascade things won't resolve because you can't. Teferi says you can't cast them, so that's really good. I also like Lavinia. That's really nice. So you can see me in the opening hand. It wasn't bad, but it didn't have. I need to mulligan aggressively against this deck. I'm not going to mulligan to 6, so I felt like I should keep this. Swords, it's not good, but I just. None of the rest prismatic ending, so I had a lot more cards I wanted to take out than bring in, so that's why they are still in the deck. Okay, so Planet Strand. Opponent plays Tinder Farm. Back to basics, another one. That's really bad. So I'm just going to Island Brainstorm. Okay, so I put one Narset and one back to basics back on top. What I need to happen is I need to not die next turn. That's the idea. But I'm afraid. Very, very afraid. Luckily for us, they play Hickory Woodlot. So I fetch. And I'm just crossing my fingers. I need back to basics to resolve. If it resolves, okay. Okay, that means we're not out of the game just yet. However, they counter my back to basics. So I ponder. I have Force Will, which is something that I'm going to take. It's not excellent, but I'm going to take it. I can, in my upkeep, I can Lorien, so This Force Will might just buy me another turn. If they're gonna go for Tybalt's Trickery, I can counter that one. So that's what I'm hoping towards. Okay, so my turn. I'm just going to. This is unfortunate. So I Lorien revealed, and then I top decked Lavinia. So I felt a bit bad. Honestly, I'm not sure if it was incorrect what I did, but it did feel awkward. You know, they Tybalt's Trickery on the Narset. Honestly, not that big of a deal. Lavinia really good in the matchup because they can't cast their spells, but they don't have enough lands. So I'm like, okay, we still have some stuff going on here. So creative technique, yikes! But I'm going to play it, and this is funny. So I get to play creative technique first, and I just find Teferi, so I'm just gonna cast it and they lose. No, it happens. Cool. So this opening hand here, a bit awkward. This is pretty much nothing. Supreme Verdict doesn't do anything against them. Back to basics. It's just 3 mana. It's not good enough. This is. I have double force, which is usually good enough, and especially Lavinia is just such a good card against them. Because it just wrecks the entire deck. I really love Lavinia. It's so powerful. I just really don't want to... this is the turn, right? If I have to pitch Lavinia to a Force Will... Now, luckily for us, I don't have to. I also draw Teferi. So now I'm like, yeah, that is perfect. If I resolve either Lavinia or Teferi, I think I just win. So I'm just going to play the Lavinia. And it resolves. And I'm like, okay, that's unexpected. Is this game over? They are continuing to play, so maybe not. Anyway, if I'm playing Teferi, this game should be over, right? We'll see. So I'm just going to plus. I'm going to slam in. And this is going to be... What do you guys want to talk about? Because not a lot is going to happen. So I'm just going to draw some lands, I'm trying to set up a situation where I can, if I need to, get Mystic Sanctuary and put a land back on top. I'm just going to fetch now. An island. Another Teferi. It's not bad. Brainstorm. I like back to basics, so I'm just going to play it. I'm trying to play as much lock pieces as I can. Also, in my hand, I have triple force now and Spell Pierce. So they get rid of back to basics. Unfortunate, but honestly, not that big of a deal. I feel like I'm in full control. So I have... a bunch of cards here. I'm just going to take the Ponder. But at this point, I can double force and Spell Pierce, feeling very, very much in the driver's seat. I would like to have, like, just finish the game with 4th, and there we go. We get what we asked for. So, nice. Sideboard cards really did it here. Mulligan aggressively against the deck. You have to. Right, last one. So this hand is really, really good, but check out what deck we are playing against. I had to face 2 extremely bad matchups in rounds 4 and 5, so it feels really good to win them. No spoilers yet. So, Elvish Reclaimer can still be everything. I'm just going to get rid of it. There we go. And Cloudpost. Yikes. We can't have Elvish Reclaimer. I just need to prevent them from having lands. That's pretty much it. So you really want to get rid of Elvish Reclaimer. It's the most powerful card. They can get way too many of their lands. And the best card in the matchup here is Back to Basics. It's going to carry the game. So I am going to heavily look for Back to Basics. That's the idea. There we go, Narset. So Narset digs deeper than Ponder, which is why I'm going to play the Narset here. So you can see that Swords was drawn. I'm going through this a bit quickly, maybe, but basically a lot of nothing. I'm just going to play Teferi. Just going to say okay, +1. There we go. So they need time, right? They need time. They only have 2 cards in hand too, so I need to find Back to Basics. That's pretty much it. So there we go. Brainstorm again, not a good Brainstorm. Then again, what is a good Brainstorm against this deck? Back to Basics. I'm gonna say it again and again. I just need to have it. Okay, but currently we have time. I like Dress Down against this deck. It's really good because what you can do is you can Dress Down, and then whatever they play, you can just prevent them from having the abilities, and then Swords in response. Like if they have Prime Time, you can just Dress Down and then Swords in response. It's not bad. Okay, so Force, you know, not ideal, so I'm just going to take the Narset. Dig a bit deeper. Force and Negation is what I wanted here, you know. Counter Magic, not bad. So I'm just going to take the Counter Magic. Let's see what they do. They have Quirion, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, and then they play Elvish Reclaimer. Honestly, at this point, I don't think that this is what matters. I think they are baiting out. They want to bait out Counter Magic, and these are things I don't care about. That's how it feels to me, at least. So I'm just going to get rid of the Elvish Reclaimer. And my guess is that they really heavily baited me, or they wanted to bait me for, you know, countering the Dryad, which was not important. But we found back the basics. Look how many lands they have tapped, so I'm happy. That is what I was looking for. This is a droid that I was looking for, so I'm going to play back the basics. I'm going to get my Volcanic in case I need it. Now, they named Giant with Cavern of Souls. That makes me afraid. So remember what I said about what you can do with Dress Down and Swords? Be prepared, because I think I'm going to need it. Now, if they go for that, that's ideal, because I have back to basics. So that means they tap out. Okay. Prime time. Nope. Dress Down. Resolves. You get no lands. I'm just going to pass through turn. I don't want to tap my Tundra if I don't have to. The Swords. Get rid of it. Plus. And here I just tap out with my Lorien to draw cards. Doesn't really matter, you know. I have double planes, so I was fine tapping out, and they have so many tapped lands that I'm okay with this. I really just wanted to draw blue cards for this Force Will. Didn't do that. That's unfortunate, but I can't wait forever. Now they crop rotation and find nothing. That's interesting. And I want to win the game as quickly as possible, so I'm just going to fourth, keeping up the Volcanic Island, just slamming in, hoping to draw a blue card, which we don't do. But okay, they still have, you know, they have 4 mana right now, 3 because Glacial Chasm does not make mana. So I'm not unhappy, you know. Back to basics. Card carries. Hey, so just do my thing, draw my card. The idea is to make them lose with their own Glacial Chasm. We shall see if that works. They gain life though with their posts, Glimmer posts, so scary sometimes, scary. Now I want a hard cast Force Will, so I'm not gonna play Brainstorm or anything. Like, what am I looking for at this point? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I just feel like I need to wait and prevent them from doing their thing. Maybe Dress Down, second one to be sure, but back to basics really carried here. Honestly it did. Nice. Next game. All right. Let's see what happens here. Have I mentioned Back to Basics is a really good card? There we go. Opening hand. Back to Basics. So that's a keep. That's honestly a keep. If you have it, it's good enough usually. I also have Brainstorm. Prismatic Ending isn't great, but okay, it's not bad. Sometimes I can hit, like, I don't know, Pithing Needle. They sometimes play Pithing Needle. Okay, so play the Volcanic. I have Cloudposts. You have time. If you have Back to Basics in your opening hand, keep the hand, dude. You usually have time. So Brainstorm, not a lot of good stuff going on, but I don't want to get rid of it. It feels like it's okay. I have 4, so I should be able to have another turn. That's what I'm aiming for. And Urza Saga is okay because it doesn't generate a shitload of mana, so I'm happy. I'm just going to play Teferi first, because the idea here is that if I can bounce the Urza Saga, it's basically a time walk for me, and it also means that I can then play Back to Basics, hopefully them tapping out everything. That's what I'm hoping towards, but they didn't do that. But still, I was happy with this exchange. You know, basically time walking for free is nice. Draw lands, don't really care. Let's get rid of the Pithing Needle because I want to be able to activate Teferi. And now, of course, I want to play Narset, take the Dress Down. I have time. I'm going to take the Narset because I wanted to, you know, I want to be able to play this Back to Basics when I don't have to tap one of my own lands. And I was kind of hoping that they would tap out more lands, which they didn't. Good on them, you know, they're playing this correctly, but me being able to get rid of this Cloudpost is really good. Now, they do have Candelabra, which is unfortunate. Not much I can do about that. So they will untap their lands. I still have Dress Down, so I may need it. If I do need to use the Dress Down, it's okay. Acclamation Sage on Back to Basics. I don't really care because I have another one. In fact, if I'm being honest, I think this was a good thing. Because this made them feel safe. So they are going to tap out everything. Since Zenith, I'm going to counter that one because that gets prime time. I could dress down, but again, I don't want to tap my Volcanic Island if I don't have to. And this leaves open a window for me to tap the land with Back to Basics. Now, Candelabra is unfortunate. I really want to get rid of that. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to Back to Basics first. I'm going to bounce it with Teferi. Sure, I have to, with me bouncing with Teferi, I lose Teferi, but it's fine. It doesn't really do all that much in the matchup. I just want to get rid of the Candelabra because I can Spell Pierce it. Nice, that's what I was aiming towards. Because that does make enough mana for them. So Brainstorm, we get Lavinia, Fourth, and Swords. I think you've seen already that Sword isn't really great in the matchup, so I'm just going to Fourth here for everything. It works, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slam in. I want to take the Monarch, so I could draw some cards with it. Keep control. I'm going to put Fourth on top, because that's my win condition. So I want to win as quickly as possible. And you just concede. Nice. Again, Mystic Sanctuary, really, really good. And we navigated through this really well, I think. Back to Basics. I've said it so many times. It carries the deck. Nobody plays Basics right now. So it's really, really powerful. That was League. Honestly, I had a ton of fun. I think the deck is really, really powerful. And I think you should probably give it a try as well if you like Control gameplay. Now, one thing I will say is that you need to be very aware of the meta, of what the opponents can do, and you need to be able to really... In the beginning, I struggled a lot with the lands. Sure, you have 18 lands and you have 4 Lorians, but you have a lot of basics. So you need to navigate this very carefully and know what lands when to get, and I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. So that was something that I had to learn. Alright, that was the video. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Let me know if you enjoyed me playing Control. I will probably play this again in the future. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.